Confidence level for the Jacksonville Jaguars is high for the second year in a row, but for a different reason. Doug Pederson. I'll tell you all about it in just a second here on Locked On Jaguars.
You are Locked On Jags, your daily Jacksonville Jaguars podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Thank you once again for joining me here on Locked On Jaguars. I am Tony Wiggins, the host of the Locked On Jaguars Daily Podcast, where it's your team every day. We thank you again for making us your first listen and reminding you that we are free on all platforms, wherever you might get your podcast, as well as on YouTube. Today's show is sponsored by LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnfl. I want to talk today about the 53-man roster getting settled and why there's so much optimism in Jacksonville. And it's not necessarily because of Trevor Lawrence, but it's indirectly because of Trevor Lawrence. But you almost have to crawl before you walk. And what I mean by that is you have to have the right leader in place. And I think Doug Pederson is that leader. I'm going to talk about the difference between Doug Pederson and any other coach we've ever had here in Jacksonville. In segment 2, what kind of impact that has on Trevor Lawrence. And in segment 3, what it means for the immediate and for the future. So we'll get into that. We won't bury the lead. I want to talk about the man, though, the myth, Doug Pederson. So this time last year, we were happy to have 2 new pieces. At least most of us were happy to have 2 new pieces. One of them was Trevor Lawrence. And 2 was the thought of Urban Meyer, a guy who had wanted every single stop that he had in college, he would be able to do the same thing in the NFL. I mean, for a guy who's used to winning and was an egomaniac, everyone sort of thought that he would not take a job in the NFL unless he really, really was sure that he could win. Most people want to win, especially guys that are used to recruiting. What better thing to sort of link or equate to good recruiting than having the number 1 overall pick when there's a franchise quarterback like Trevor Lawrence on the board, having multiple first-round picks, picking first in every round, and having a boatload of salary cap money. That's as close you're going to get. That's as close as you're going to get to a good recruiting situation. But it wasn't enough because we learned that Urban did not know as much about the NFL as he proclaimed. He also did not understand the NFL the way he said he did. And he was unwilling to bend and flex and understand that everybody in the NFL does the same thing. So what's the point of you complaining about the way the NFL works when every single team went by those same rules? That just means that you can't win unless you think the rules have to either be bent towards you or you have a built-in advantage. Get to this season, Doug Pederson comes in. And the connection here with Trevor is that folks thought that just getting Trevor Lawrence was going to just totally turn the fortunes of the franchise around. Well, you saw firsthand that that's not what happened. If anything, you could ruin a guy like Trevor Lawrence if you don't have the proper resources and the proper people in place and the proper structure in your franchise. Enter Doug Pederson this year, and that's why, to me, the confidence that people have this year, especially not only after the history, the recent history and the not so recent history of the Jaguars just being perpetually bad. And then after what was a total embarrassment last year, believe it or not, it was actually from a PR standpoint and from a feeling standpoint worse than the previous year where the team was 1-15. To be able to get somebody to come in and have the fans have amnesia and overcome that. Now, I always say fans will have amnesia because they just want the season to start because they're optimistic and they're hopeful. And they want something different so bad that they'll still leave room for it to happen, even if it seems unlikely. But this was a little bit different. I think I'm surprised and shocked at how quickly the fans have been able to turn around and have that optimism, because I thought coming off of last year, it was just going to be like, man, please. But no, the fans here have craved something new. They've craved something different. And I always say this about kids, and I'm going to even put myself as one of the kids in this analogy. We crave discipline. We say we don't like it and we want to skip school, but deep down inside, there's a part of us that no, we want structure and we want to respond to discipline. And we don't want to just lay around and do what we want to do all the time. At least most of us don't. I think anyone that's driven and wants something good, they always appreciate someone who is honest and coaches them and does it with integrity and leads them. So I just see the fans responding to the fact that Doug Pederson has come in here and he's acted not just like an adult, but he's acted like a champion. Doug Pederson has come into Jacksonville and actually walked and carried himself with the confidence that other people who do a lot of barking all the time and want to have a tough guy routine, and we know who I'm talking about, that they're unable to do, and they're unable to command that sort of respect from people because it's fake and it's contrived. Well, Doug is not like that. Doug Pederson is not soft. Would I say he's a player's coach? Possibly. I just think he's a dude that comes in here with a pedigree of winning and he wants to do things the right way. I think by coaching in Philadelphia and bringing the championship to that fan base, and if you don't understand the significance of that, I can't help you. And then in the face of having a disagreement with front office people after that, left with class, stayed out a year, took a deep breath, came back to a great situation, and walked in and still has the grace of Matt Dillon and has the grace of just a guy that knows and understands who he is and what he's able to do. And I think that quiet confidence has really not only has it sort of galvanized the team and they've come together and had a chip on their shoulder, but they practice and they go out and approach this year like they really, really do believe. And the fact that he was a quarterback has really helped him insulate Trevor Lawrence and do the things for Trevor Lawrence that we all hoped that any competent coach would have done in the first place. That is, put people around him, work him, challenge him, don't overpraise him too much, don't call him the best you've ever seen at this and that. No, just all you hear from him and Press Taylor is he's doing good, he has a lot of work to do, and he wants to get better. That's what you want to hear. There's a quiet confidence and a leadership style about Doug Pederson that I believe has resonated with fans. It's resonated with that team. It's permeated throughout the facility and the building. Now, I know we all have to win games. They have to win before all of this stuff really means anything. But I'm shocked at how quickly the franchise and the attitude around the franchise has changed. And I'm giving all credit and all respect to the new head coach of the Jaguars, Doug Pederson, for being able to do that, because it came into a very, very tough situation with fans that rightfully so can be skeptical at times, with fans that want to say, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Even though it's Florida, they sound like they're in Missouri because they say, show me. I think to this point, it's more than just fandom and fake optimism and hope. I think it's starting to turn into belief. Belief of what, though? Do I think this means they're going to win the Super Bowl this year? No. But I do think for the first time in a long time, Jaguar fans have a reason to feel like this thing is going in the right direction. And I think that's extremely, extremely important, especially for the start of this season. I really do. I think it's huge that the folks around here believe so quickly that this thing looks like it has the possibility of turning around. I'll talk to you about Trevor Lawrence and why he is still the most important part of this situation moving forward. And I'll do all of that here in just a couple of seconds on Locked On Jaguars after I talk to you about LinkedIn Talent Solutions. Look, man, as you gear up for fall, you need the right people on your team to help your small business fire on all cylinders. LinkedIn Jobs is here to make it easier to find the people you want to talk to faster and for free. Here's what you do. Create a job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network, over 810 million people. Now, I know this works for a fact because I saw my daughter transition from the United States military and have a civilian job the day she got out because of her interaction on LinkedIn with the company that hired her. All you have to do is add your job and the purple hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring so your network can help you find the right people. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every single week, nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnfl. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnfl to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. I want to holler at you guys too, man, about PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the real deal. If you haven't tried it, you need to, because this app is something else. And you guys, I'm telling you, you can win you some money, especially if you're good at figuring out daily fantasy games. Daily fantasy is where your entries have certain player projections placed on them by PrizePicks, the folks at PrizePicks.com. And you have to figure out whether or not they're going to go more or less on those projections. If you do it properly, you can win up to 10 times your money on any entry. That's right. Anyone, no competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections. PrizePicks offers projections on any sport that you may watch. You name it, from the NFL to golf to Euro cricket. They offer projections, and you can go right up against them head to head and see if you can get it done. Download the PrizePicks app or go to PrizePicks.com to sign up and play the daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match of up to $100 with promo code Locked On. If you deposit $100, PrizePick will give you $100. If you put in $50, they're going to give you $50. If it's $60, you're going to get $60. You get it. Don't forget to enter the promo code Locked On at sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100 at PrizePicks.com. Bringing it to you today here on Locked On Jaguars, I am Tony Wiggins. And what we're trying to do is give you a sense of the confidence level where this team is and where this team is going to be. By the way, there have been some more, as of me recording this, there have been some more moves on the waiver wire. So let me give you those to you right now. Outside linebacker Jameer Jones, who I really thought had a great camp. He was waived today. You can look for him probably to be back on the practice squad. In fact, maybe all of these players. Kicker James McCourt, seems like as of right now, he's waived and he did not win out on the kicking spot, as well as offensive lineman Will Richardson Jr., someone who I kind of thought was hanging on thin ice. Safety Josh Thompson, that was a great story. It lasted for about a day, but maybe he's another person that could come back and maybe get on the practice squad. Kicker Jake Verity also waived because he was injured. So as of right now, the Jaguars don't have a kicker. This tells me that they are claiming guys, or there's 5 people that they're going to go out and claim at those various positions, or at least 4 of them, because 2 of these guys that were let go were kickers. So now what this means is they have 5 roster spots, and they're probably going to fill them based on the cut list that came out last night, because they have priority in terms of waivers. Now, folks say, well, how do they know they're going to get all 5? Because, look, the way it is you have priority. They have waiver priority from here to the 3rd week of the season. So doesn't matter how many guys they claim. You don't lose your priority when you claim folks. So look for them to find players at those respective positions. Or you never know, make some trades. We'll find out maybe by the end of the show, but if not by the end of the show, who the Jaguars have picked up. So that's breaking news. Now, back to what we were talking about. We're talking about the fact that the confidence this season is at a high. I wouldn't say an all-time high, but I think 2018 And after those years when the Jaguars actually went to the title games, those are the years where it was an all-time high. But the turnaround here was shocking for me at how quickly the Jaguars were able to get the fans back on board. Now, like I said, fans are always going to be willing to get on board early in the season because that's just what fans do. And we have some of the best fans in the world here. I call them the fabulous 50,000 or the faithful 50,000. But to me, this was a fast turnaround. And I think the calming, confident, and Doug's like 6'3", 6'4" too, man. So when he walks in, you feel his presence, but he doesn't do it in a superficial way with all of the jargon and the coach speak and the iron jaw and I'm not knocking other people that do it that way, but for so long we've seen when there's bad situations, someone come in cracking a whip and someone come in with the iron jaw and fire and brimstone speeches. It's not who he is. It's not who he is. It's like, hey man, we got to get the work done. We have to get the work done, and guys are going to be held accountable. And I've seen him correct people, and communication is funny. Some folks really believe that they're a great communicator because they're articulate and loud, and that's not true. Communication only works if it's received. It's not communication if it's not received. It's just you talking and it's not getting home, right? Right. So he has really been received not only by players, but the media, and I think it's resonated a lot with the fans. Now, just because I say he's the biggest reason why so many people are confident doesn't mean he's the most important piece. The most important piece is Trevor Lawrence. And at the end of the day, the workload, I've called it the insulating, meaning placing coaches around him, making things readily available for him, allowing him to just do nothing but communicate with his teammates, talk ball, practice, work out, get his body together. All of those things have seemingly helped Trevor Lawrence because he's a different quarterback and a different player. And you haven't seen or heard from him as much about things that don't have anything to do with football this year. And that's a real big step in the right direction. That's why I think he's so important, not only to the fan base, but to also to Trevor Lawrence. He's extremely important to Trevor because Trevor is the most important piece. If this franchise is going to go where we all hope that it will, it's going to be because number 16 plays well. And the thing that helps number 16 play well and play well in a hurry is having a coach like Doug Pederson to really show him the ropes and really allow him to just do the things that a quarterback needs to be doing. And that's that confidence I'm talking about. Trevor doesn't have to save the world and put on a cape and show up at a press conference so everyone can calm down. That doesn't have to happen. All he has to do is be a quarterback and play football to the best of his ability. And that's actually probably what he does best. And that's what he's being paid to do. And that happens because you have a guy like Doug Pederson who's willing to stand up in front of the microphone, who's willing to be the voice of reason and the voice of the team, who does it with confidence, who you don't get tired of, who doesn't look like an interview is like him being at the dentist without anesthesia. Doug is almost like to do, once he answers a question, you don't have a follow-up because he answered everything. He's not evasive. And just by being that way, I think has given a lot of confidence to a lot of people, and it can only help Trevor Lawrence. And if you help Trevor, now Trevor can be the leader to the rest of his teammates. And by him being a leader to the rest of his teammates, they start believing in him, and they have this rapport with each other and this confidence, and they believe that nothing that they go through is going to prevent them. Like, for instance, they get in 3rd and 17, they think they're going to make it. The reason why they think they're going to make it is because their quarterback thinks he's going to make it. And the reason why he thinks he's going to make it because the coach going to call a play that's going to let him know that he believes that he can do it. And all of that comes from all of the work that you see or you don't see behind the scenes. And that's what I mean by that quiet confidence. So what does it mean in the near future? What does it mean in the interim? And what does it mean long term? Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I will tell you, I think they're going to be a lot better than anyone, especially folks outside of Jacksonville, can imagine. I think they're going to be a whole lot better. And I think they may take a step that's a little bit bigger than a baby step this season. I'm going to surprise you and tell you exactly what I believe that step is in just a second here on Locked On Jaguars, after I tell you about our friends over at Dave. That's right. It's the Dave app. I'm talking about DAVE that you should download from your app store right now and sign up for an extra cash account and get up to $500 instantly. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking provided by Evolve. Member FDIC. Now, I said all of that to let you know about this. We've all been in these situations. It's been a little while for me, I'm not going to lie, but back in the day, I used to be in those tough situations. You know, hindsight is 2020, and you can't change the past, but what you could do is get a little bit of help from your future self, right? And maybe you'd ask to borrow a little cash. Now you can do it with Dave. That's the app that I told you about. It's DAVE. It is in your app store, and you can get an extra cash account up to $500 instantly. Make sure you read all of the transfer fees and the conditions when you go to Dave so you have an understanding. So go to dave.com/legal. Banking provided by Evolve, member FDIC. And I love the segue that allows me to say I am TIIGG here on Locked On Jaguars, reminding you that we are free on all platforms, and we thank you for making us your first listen. That ultimate football preview is on its way, man. Make sure you check that out. It is all of the local experts from around the Locked On NFL Network giving you the ups and downs and all of the information about their respective teams. We go at it a little bit. We recorded the other day, and we went at it a little bit. I had to tell those dudes from the AFC South to kick rocks and just chill out a little bit on all of these bad predictions. So I'm going to give you some now. After I let you know, make sure you like and subscribe and find that on the Locked On NFL page as well, and wherever you get your podcast, because we did that with Odyssey and their experts. And it's really, really a good show. We work real hard on it, so make sure you check it out. But what does it mean in the interim? In the interim, it means the Jacksonville Jaguars, because they have the right leadership, are going to be competitive. They're going to be competent. They're going to have an opportunity to go out every single week and really, really not be blown out before the whistle even blows to start the game, because you know they're outgunned. I don't think they're going to be outgunned, and I definitely don't think they're going to be outcoached. Does it mean the Super Bowl? No, but I will tell you this. I think they have a real good shot of winning the AFC South. I damn sure do. And I don't care who says otherwise. I think they have a real shot because they have a guy who's navigating the ship who's won before. And he's won under some rough conditions. And as rough as the conditions have seemed here, it ain't nothing compared to the condition that he left in Philly. So I do believe that they have the right leader that's going to help them, and I think that they can make baby steps. But more than anything, whether they win the Super Bowl this year or in the next 3 or 4 years, which I think they will, more than any of that, it just gives you the feeling that every single week you're going to be able to compete. That at every single turn, you're going to have a shot. When you come to that stadium, or you get all of your stuff and start grilling early in the morning on away games, or if you make a road trip with whether you're with the brigade or whoever, and y'all go out, that you're not just going into a lion's den and have a good time until the game starts, because you know what's going to happen to you, that you're going to eventually get whooped or something. That's not going to happen. I think those days are pretty much over, at least for the time being, and the Jaguars are going to give you something to be proud of every single day and every single Sunday. We make you proud every single day here on Locked On Jaguars, because it's your team every day, and you make us your first listen. We'll give you more tomorrow. Obviously, what we'll have on our next show is who did the Jaguars claim on the waiver wire and how can they help the team, and then take a look at what shape the team is in after those additions. Until then, you guys take care of each other. Thanks for joining us here on Locked On Jaguars. Until next time, take care.